I'm really pleased that we have two of the actors with us, so please welcome to the stage Sadie LaPointe and Alaina Clifford, as well as Lisandro Alonso. Thank you all for being here.
Hello. I'm happy to be here, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. But I also know that the film, I remember you talking about this film 9 years ago when you were here with Jauja. So was this the film you had in mind 9 years ago?
No. But it didn't happen with any of my previous films. I don't want to have the film already in my mind, so I just go there and I shoot with my crew and the teams and the people that I admired, and we just see what is the best way in order to find the film that it will work for itself. So, and we have different places where we shoot, as you can see, and we have different inconvenience. Let's call it that way. So, but we need to surf that kind of difficulties that every film has, but it takes a lot of time. It takes like it's like 10 years thinking about the film. I don't recommend that for anybody because your ideas just get low energy, I guess.
Right, but with your other films, you say this idea of like going to a place and finding a film is, that's one thing, but this film has 3 different chapters, 3 different places. You were working with different actors, different crew, and I think how the 3 parts work together is really important for the film. So can you talk about how you found the overall structure for the film?
Yeah, actually, I don't think I mean, obviously, the film has 3 different parts, but I don't see it that way. I would like to think about that the film is like a unique thing, like a painting, and you put different elements or tools or connections or suggestions, and any one of us has to do some work on it. Because if I go like in a way, like for example, the Western part, obviously it's something that is not like distracting, but at the same time it's a film that you are not paying attention, and I would like to know why you are not paying attention to that kind of films. I'm the one who make questions. No, but so I'm starting about doing that because so then you see, even if I don't know, Western films, U.S., Western, why I do really want to make a Western? I've been born in Argentina. It's so fucking far away from here. Why I have that idea in my mind? And why? I go straight to the bone. Do you think Western films represent your community somehow in the past or now?
Do we think that there's a correlation?
Do you feel like they represent you as a community in the Western films, like John Wayne films?
No.
Why not?
Because they inaccurately depict Native Americans and who we were.
Okay, tell me more about your childhood.
So I had a typical reservation upbringing. I was born in a home where I was fortunate enough to have 2 incomes. However, I had a parent who suffered with alcoholism. I guess I can say that I once again was fortunate enough where the problems and the things that affected me in my home weren't as severe as the things that affected other people in their homes. You know, my mom cared. My mom cared. My mom came home every night. My mom cared if we had food on the table, if we had a warm house, if we had electricity. That's not something you see every day. That's not something you see everywhere where we're from. It's not pretty. It's definitely not what you see in a movie. We're not all feathers and beads and braids and bows and arrows. We actually are everything but that, consistently, you know, and so finding the beauty in our communities is really important so that you don't become down, because it is very easy to be consumed by the chaos. My childhood was beautiful, but it wasn't pretty, if that makes any sense.
Could you both tell us how you came to be involved with the film?
Hi, yeah, I'll go first. Basically, my sophomore year of college, I decided to go online for school. And so being online, I had all this free time. And then so watching, you know, films and characters on my TV screen, I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. So then one day I was like telling my family, yeah, I want to be an actor. And then literally the next week there was this open casting call for Lisandro's film. And then, yeah. So I just sent in, you know, my information, and then yeah, that's how I came about with this film.
But you were not reading for your role, right? If I understand correctly.
Oh yeah, I did audition for Alaina Clifford's police officer role.
That was never gonna happen, you know about it.
Yeah, Lisandro was like, she's too young, she's too small, so let's stick her with this other role.
And Alaina, how about you?
So
You are a police officer.
Yeah, I'm currently not a police officer right now.
But you were when you made the
I
film.
was, yeah. So I knew I knew Eleanor first. She reached
Who's here
out
tonight?
to me.
Eleanor
Who is
Hendricks
here?
Eleanor
and
Hendricks is
Abby,
here.
casting director, both of them.
I've known her for actually several years. I met her. I have siblings.
And Eleanor has worked in the community for several
so I
years,
have siblings who've worked on films or worked in films with her. And she just messaged me. I was an active police officer at the time. And she's like, hey, so I have this thing going on and this really cool friend that I want you to meet. And he just has some questions and wants to know about like what it is you do and what it's like being a police officer here. And, you know, she really sold me and like hyped me up about it. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. So like here I am like thinking I'm just going to be like talking about my experiences as like a police officer, right? Yeah, that was not how it ended up. So I originally was like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like I'm not going to audition. Like I can share my experiences and different things like that, but I wanted to stay pursuing my career in law enforcement at the time. And then I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And so then I was like, well, you know what? Lisandro was talking about wanting to film in the wintertime, and I'm due in the wintertime and I'd be on maternity leave. So I had my daughter, and then 2 weeks later, we start shooting the film. I'm not even kidding you. And she was a preemie. So whenever we talk about all of the things that have happened during the filming, the inconveniences, minor and not so much minor, one of them was my daughter ended up in the hospital, and we really adapted to all of those things as well. During the blizzard, like there was like no way out. So I came to be a part of the film basically because I was an officer. I had law enforcement experience, which was really hard for me because one of the main things that Lisandro would say to me whenever we would do something that was not something I would do in law enforcement, he would say, for cinema. And all I could think about is, man, everybody I went to academy with, all of the police officers that I work with are going to be like, this is not how cops do this. But
can you give us some examples?
So, whenever I'm walking up to the car with the flashlight in my non-dominant hand in my right hand, why would I have that in my right hand? That's the hand that obviously is closest to the car. If I need to react, I need to be able to utilize the hand, right? Utilize that hand that my flashlight is in. Also, this is in my line of vision.
That's bullshit. Nobody cares about that.
I know, you told me like 900 times. And it was so difficult for me to just like untrain my brain. But then just for Simna. Like this was like a repetitive thing that he would say, and I understood where he was coming from. But for me, this was in my line of vision, and I can't see what's in the car like this. But I needed to make sure that this was not in the line of your vision, and this is what you were seeing on the camera, right? So it was things like that I was having to adjust. And so, very difficult for muscle memory, for sure. Yeah.
Lisandro, you wrote the role as a police officer, but I'm wondering like what it was like working with a real police officer in terms of shaping the scenes.
Boy, I mean, it was not that bad, but no, it was great. But I think it was a kind of nice tool in order for me to know how, through her eyes as a police officer, I can watch different places and houses of the way what is happening there in a nice way, not in a yellow pages book, but I think we try to do our best. And I think it was, if you ask me even farther than that, like why I should put my body in South Dakota, why not? I'm not. It's probably that. I should like in landscapes or like forests or jungles or whatever I like to shoot. But then I ask myself, okay, if you have the chance to put some microphones and camera in US, where do you like to go? And immediately thought about your place. Maybe I have my reasons, maybe I don't, but I think it was incredible. Why are you laughing? You never know. You just go there and say, okay, I want to spare all my time and energy with these people and see how they live, what they need, what they're never gonna get, what's the problems they have. Like everybody, I came from South America. We are super fucked over there. But I think it was important for me as an experience.
I'm wondering, Sadie and Alaina, if you question that, what this guy was doing.
You just cast for the police officer. So be aware.
No, but what were you? Did you ask him? Were you curious what he was doing, in your community, and what was that conversation about for you?
Well, I came on pretty late into the filming,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want to say the whole time Lisandro was respectful. Like, can we film this? Can we portray your character like this? And I just thought that was neat of him, because most people come to our reservations and it's like, oh yeah, let's make everyone a drug addict, or it's like we're more than that. So I thought Lisandro did a good job with portraying us.
Or super, just dead set on filming our ceremonial practices and things that we don't share with the public on film anyways. Lisandro respected every single time that we were like, oh no, we can't film that. No, we won't. We can't. We have to follow this protocol. Different things like that. I will say that is extremely true. I know that I did ask. I asked whenever I first met you, like, oh, well, why do you want to film here? And he told me about his project. So he had told me where he had already filmed, and how he had liked the contrast of the environment. But he also wanted to tell our story. So it was really interesting because he had already had friends who were in law enforcement that I worked with. And so he had some of the experiences already down, but he didn't get to see the full picture yet, right? So of what, no matter where you go, being a police officer, you're not going to know until you ask. What's it like being there? Then what is it like being a police officer on a reservation? So on our reservation specifically, where we filmed, we lead the calls for service in South Dakota. That means that we beat out Rapid City and Sioux Falls, which are our biggest cities. And mind you, our population isn't as high as either of those places. We lead the calls for service for homicides, essays, and so on and so forth. So it was having these conversations and talking about my experiences with Lisandro, and by the end, he was just like blown away, and then really painting a full picture of what he was going to be getting himself into filming-wise. But it was really neat about it is he wanted to accurately depict what he was getting himself into filming-wise. So there was that authenticity, and that was important to him.
I think I should note that you filmed in South Dakota last, right? That was, even though it's the middle of the film, that was actually the final part of shooting. So you had shot, I think you shot first in Spain for the Mexico first.
Yeah.
And then Mexico is a
No, it's Brazil. Yeah, it's kind of fake Brazil, but it's in Mexico and Oaxaca, and then we
right.
go to
That's the last part of the
Argentina.
film,
Yeah.
and then the western is in Spain,
Yeah,
and then South Dakota.
yeah.
I mean, we've, since you're here, I'm happy to talk more about the South Dakota portion. But I want you to just maybe briefly acknowledge just what the first section of the film. I think is important. The western, in quotes.
That's all fake.
Yeah,
It's entertainment.
Did you?
It's totally entertainment. Nobody cares about. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not in the right place to say that.
But did you have
Western films? I mean, they don't represent.
Anybody?
Say it louder.
Anybody?
No, I don't think so because I really love the. Western
But you did
films.
start the film with the western.
I'm getting in trouble here.
No. I'm just saying you did start the film with a western, and I'm just, I think it's important for the
why a
film.
guy like me want to shoot a western in Almeria with Viggo and Chiara Mastroianni talking
So Almeria is
other shit about human conditions or metaphysical, I don't know. But this, I mean, once I finished my previous film, I started thinking I should spend more time with native. I mean, I'm sorry to say that word. Natives. I hate that word. It's just people. I don't make that kind of distinction. And then I go and ask Viggo Mortensen, okay, do you know anybody to I can knock the door by? And then I start thinking about that. But why I'm talking about this? I lost the track.
You were talking about why the western at the beginning of the film.
Why the western at the beginning of the film? I don't know. Because I think I just wanted to put you in the place that you just, go back in time and feels what kind of, in terms of cultural representation, colonized by what kind of films, simple things. And then you enjoy that, and then you realize that in present times, it doesn't have any effect by representing at this moment, I think even if I really love Western films, in nowadays conditions, half of them would not be possible to be made. Or maybe I'm wrong, but even I don't care about that. So what I do care is, what do you think about the last part? Should I just stop the film with you both?
Yeah. No, just kidding.
Sorry, you were fucking sleeping over there.
I was.
At the last part.
I start driving from Denver at 10 o'clock,
Okay, that's
to get
why.
to my plane, and we flew out of Denver at 7.
We are not talking about our problems.
No, I think for me, because I am born and raised on the reservation, I didn't grow up with a lot of films that were not in English, and anything I had to read, I was like, I'm not gonna lie. Like I can't even focus on subtitles. Yeah, but I mean, it was beautiful. Like, it was beautifully shot, but I had no idea what was going on. So I was like, and then I can't read fast enough because it's just going by so quickly. And so, like, I'm like sitting here lost. I was like lost 3 sentences before that. So then I just had to pay attention to other things. Yeah.
I think that's a valid way to watch movies. You don't have to watch it. Yeah, but Alaina, I should say this is your first time watching the film, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
Sadie, is your second time?
Yes.
Because you were in Cannes.
Yeah.
So how was your second experience with the film? And with Lisandro's question about the ending.
Each time I watch this film, I love watching Lisandro get stressed out each time. Yeah, my favorite part.
I didn't get that any translation. What did you say?
We love watching you get stressed out for these film festivals.
Not especially in this one. I have a lot of friends here, but still I look like. No. Okay, I will try. But
can you talk about the third part? I mean, it's interesting. Okay, you have to answer some questions because I think what's really interesting about the film is one thing that's interesting is the way it moves from one part to another, the way it is revealed as a Western on TV, that amazing transition, and then, of course, the bird that bridges north and south in the, between the second and third part. So I'm wondering if you can talk about, that third. Why was it important for you to have that third part?
Because once I thought, okay, I'm going to talk about a place that I really don't know, like South Dakota, Pine Ridge. Then I would like to also make some kind of connections with a part of America that I really do know. And I would like to share my kind of suggestions, reflections, essays, whatever I have, with the public, whatever you want to call it. So, and I thought it was good for me to make that kind of showing different kind of people living in different ways. And if I'm allowed to say that, I do compare the way we live from Mexico to the south and from Mexico to north. And because now, I don't want to go deep in kind of political issues because I'm not that kind of filmmaker. But nevertheless, I live in a place that there's a lot of people just walking by foot in order to get into U.S. for a better way of life. And I don't think they are going to get it. We have like a better weather than you guys. So, no, I'm not. I'm just telling. Yeah. You're fucking freezing over there. Yeah. Sure. And I think I would like to compare. I don't know. I don't know if it was like a success idea, but I don't really care about that. I just really want to put my team, my body, like every other filmmaker does over there, and spend time with you, and then see what we can make together.
There were some difficulties with the shoot, though, right? I mean, whether you had to change DPs, Lisandro. I mean, share some.
I've been told when I was in school that there was 3 things you can experience in the movies: change producers, change DOP, and change actresses. Then they never told me about COVID and get divorced. But it was a film school, But we have a lot of difficulties. Weather. Do you remember we get locked at the casino for 4 days?
That was lovely, wasn't it? So
Yeah, you were a pain in the ass, but we have different things. I mean, we should at the beginning we should do with Timo Salminen, the Akis Kaurismäki DOP, and he didn't tell us. Don't tell anyone, but he didn't tell us he was getting out for a pneumonia after Aki's film. No, I will not talk about that. But he really wanted to be there and finish the film, but he really collapsed after 4 hours first day shooting.
And it was freezing.
Yeah, like every other day.
But it was horrible that night.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we stopped.
We had to call the real cops.
Yeah, an ambulance and different things happened, and then I started calling desperately, like people around, like DOPs all around. I talked with a lot of people, but then because part of the team is from Spain, and so Mauro just show up, and I really like what he did in Oliver Lax's film and Eloy Inciso, friends and filmmakers, and he just show up. And it helps. He was also a pain in the ass too. Because he's so obsessive.
Yeah.
You remember that, no?
Yep.
Like, give me this, your face, your light. And I talked to him. People is dying here, so we don't have time for your light, you know?
Yeah. Or
Literally.
Or
Am I lying?
Or he would be like, I didn't like the way that pop can was sitting in the background. And I would be like, are you serious? Like the part of the film where I'm in the hotel room, I just woke up because I fell asleep because he was obsessed with the way that the set looked. Not the set designer was not obsessed. I mean, of course he was, but not to the extent of the DP. And so then I wake up and I'm doing this shot for the 12th time, and I'm like not feeling good. I'm separated from my baby. There's a blizzard outside, right?
That was up to you. We already told you. You will not have time with your baby.
This was horrible. Yeah, no, but it was horrible. There was a lot of things going on, right? Like emotionally. Mind you, I had a baby 2 weeks prior to this. And then, and this man is like telling me, he's like, I don't like the way that pop can is sitting in the background. And I just got done walking in without like disrupting my microphone, making sure I wasn't spiking the camera, making sure that I was like hitting all my markers. And I'm like, are you serious? You're upset about the way the pop can is in the background? And I look at Lisandro and I'm like, so we're doing this again? And he's like, yeah, we have to do this again. And I was like, what? I was like so upset. I was getting really frustrated. And I'm trying to keep it together at this point because I'm like trying not to be a diva, but I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Like I had no idea. But he was fun to work with, but at the same time, obsessive is.
Yeah, well, that's the way it should be, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sadie, can I make a question? Sure. How do you like, you both, I don't know what am I going to ask, but do you think you will be happy to people from around just go and shoot more films in your place? Or do you prefer to get out of your place? It's a really weird question that I just keep talking.
I would think of it as more media on our reservation brings like more, how do you say it, like more eyes on our reservation's problems. Because I know, because I love my home, I love my homeland, but we do have problems. And
like everywhere.
Yeah, but it's going to take a whole group of us to, fix them. So more films, more newspaper articles about our reservation, yeah, helps out a lot.
I guess for us, right on my reservation, because I am Oglala Lakota, we've had several films on our reservation that in the last, I would say easily 10 years, fun, interesting enough, that have really accurately depicted our life on our reservation, and yours being the newest one, which is really cool. But Sadie is right, it does bring awareness and it does start to talk about the really tough things without making it so much poverty porn, because it's just not a documentary, let's go talk about the drunk people that are living down on Main Street in Pine Ridge, right? It's diving into what the problems are, because it's talking about what's in the homes. It's talking about the fact that we don't have a sustainable housing even market, or how difficult it is to get housing. It's talking about multi-families living in one home. I mean, it's attacking all the root of the problems, and it's not just for the sake of a profit. So I think that as long as everything is authentic and is pure and with good intentions and done correctly, I think that it would be really beneficial to who we are as a people.
Do you have a cinema over there?
We do. We have one. It's called NYFF Theater. NYFF in our language means two, so we have 2 screening rooms.
What kind of films you saw? I'm sorry, I'm asking. Yeah, just keep it quiet.
You're asking great questions.
So we'll have your I guess anything that has come out in the last couple of years. We do have some films, we recently had War Pony, which was a film that was shot on our reservation that was premiered there. In the past, we've done Songs My Brother Taught Me, The Last Rider. The owner of the cinema or the theater there, she is Native American. She's from Kyle. So she does like to partner with the people who are making these films about us and allowing them to be shown at her theater for the people who are in them and their families, who don't have the ability to go to New York or France or these bigger film festivals. So, but other than that, you could see all of the Disney films, all of the fancy names, and all that stuff. So,
Are you going to show Eureka there?
For free? For free?
Oh, absolutely, it's going to be for free. No one is going to pay anything. We will try. Not in winter.
All right. I think we're going to wrap up, but thank you so much to both of you for being here. And Lisandro, thank you for the film. Thank you.